Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of Mexico's Caesar salad. Now that might surprise a whole bunch of you because my guess is a lot of you think of Caesar salad as an Italian thing, but it was actually invented in the 1920s in Tijuana. And it was invented by Caesar Cardini because he had moved there from Italy in order to make his fortune. So why Tijuana? Because in the 1920s, it was a boom town. I'll tell you, there were casinos and racetracks and huge spas and loads of restaurants, all of them attracting all of the rich and famous from Hollywood during the Prohibition era. So you can imagine that this town just went crazy. And Caesar Cardini, being the very crafty and inventive guy that he was, decided to do something that was really beautiful and showy. So he did tableside Caesar salad. So today I'm going to show you Caesar Cardini's version of that Caesar dressing. Well, my version of Caesar Cardini's version of it. But I'm not going to serve it just as a salad. Instead, I'm going to transform it into a very special tostada that you could serve as a light meal or as a kind of snack. I think you're really going to love this. So the first thing that I have done here is to roast a couple serrano chilies and some garlic. Now, Caesar Cardini did not use chili in it, and he worked with raw garlic, but I don't want that raw garlic taste to overwhelm this, so I've roasted some garlic here. And then for the little tostadas that we are going to layer with our Caesar salad, I'm going to make a white bean puree. So the first thing that I have to do is make that puree, and I'm just going to do it in a food processor. You can use canned beans, or if you have some beans that you have cooked and want to do this with those beans, you could do that. I got a cup and a half of beans that I'm going to put into the food processor there. And there was about 2/3 of these garlic cloves here will go in, as well as a nice little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons of that I'll glug in there. And then I am going to I'm going to puree that mixture. And this is something that I love on tostadas. I always love to layer in something smooth that we can stick everything to, so that when the guests eat the tostada, the stuff doesn't just all fall off. So a couple more pulses on this will give us a very, very nice puree. I'm going to give that a little taste just because I want to make sure that it has enough salt. Those beans were salted. Nope, it's lacking salt. So I'm going to add some salt to it and then just pulse that into it. Okay, so we're just going to let that stay in there, and now we're going to transition to doing the dressing part of all of this. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to make a puree out of the roasted garlic and one of these serranos. The serrano is going to give it a little spice, which I kind of like. If you don't like that, then feel free to leave that off. But the next ingredient we have to talk about is anchovies. And I'm going to be using these beautiful light colored anchovies. Now that might not be what you think of as an anchovy, because there are a couple of different varieties of anchovies. One is the dark ones that are shelf stable that you will likely find, say, with Italian ingredients in your grocery store. That's not these. Those have a longer cure and they are a stronger flavor. These have a very short cure, and you will find these in the refrigerated case of your grocery store. They have a little bit of vinegar in them, making them much lighter in flavor, and they're usually packed in oil as these ones are here. So I'm going to grab 3 of these guys and then put them here with the garlic and the serrano And I'm just going to start chopping across all of this. I'm using that rock and chop motion to sort of rock my knife across like that. And when I get everything really finely chopped, then I'm going to use the side of my knife to go back and forth, making a kind of puree out of this. Now, if you go to Caesar's restaurant, which thankfully, because of the great Plascencia family in Tijuana, has been revived, and it is a gorgeous restaurant. So you can go there and order the classic Caesar salad, but they wouldn't do this with a knife. They would actually be mashing all of this stuff together with the back of a heavy wooden spoon in a great big wooden salad bowl. Okay, so I've got this now pretty finely chopped, and I'm going to use the side of my knife now to just mash it. And we're going to make a kind of coarse puree out of this. This gives you the flavor that you're looking for, distributed all through this Caesar salad. This looks really good. I'm going to scrape it up and put it into a bowl. And we'll add the other flavoring ingredients that go into this Caesar dressing here. I'm just going to set this damp towel down to keep this from moving around. First thing that we will do is an egg yolk that will go in here. So for those of you that avoid all things that have raw egg in it, this is probably not going to be your dressing here. I've got Worcestershire that's going to go in, and lemon juice. You see me mostly cook with limes, but in that part of Mexico, they do grow lemons. I've got a tablespoon of Dijon mustard that goes in here, which is actually what they use every time I have been to Caesar's restaurant in Tijuana. But a lot of people around that area that are trying to recreate this will use that ballpark mustard, the really bright orange stuff. I don't think it's as beautiful in the salad dressing. So we're going to whisk all of this stuff together. And the nice thing is that when you get it all together like this, the emulsion will already have sort of started from the oil that is in those anchovies. So you see that. And now we're going to whisk in 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. Now this will go in a thin, steady stream. You don't want to go too fast in this. You see that damp cloth underneath my bowl is really holding everything in place. And if you whisk this in slowly like this, you will get the most beautiful textured Caesar dressing. What a lot of people probably don't know is that olive oil is a major product of Baja California, where Tijuana is. In fact, almost all of the olive oil that is consumed in Mexico comes from that region. So slow, steady stream until you get it all in. Okay, it takes a little time to get that oil all in there, but boy is it worth it, because the consistency of this dressing is just absolutely perfect. Okay, I'm going to set these things over here and give this a taste now, because we got to add salt and pepper to it. Always taste this one because you don't know how salty the anchovies are. And of course, when you are making a dressing, you always want it to be slightly salty, because it is the seasoning that is going to go on everything else. Got my pepper grinder here. I love this pepper grinder because it grinds into a container that's really easy for me to judge about how much I am using here. I'm looking for about a ½ teaspoon of this, and it grinds pretty fast. So I've got that going in. And then we've got a little bit of Parmesan cheese. So Parmesan in the classic Caesar from Caesar Cardini goes over the lettuce only. I like to take just a little of that Parmesan and add it to the dressing. So in that goes. We'll come back to the Parmesan in just a little bit. We've got all of that. One final taste here. We hit it. Beautiful stuff. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. And now we will talk about the lettuce that goes into this, because classically it is made with the hearts of the romaine and with whole leaves. Okay, so I'll set that over there. And what I have here is my new favorite. So this is a type of romaine-like lettuce that we call Little Jim. And so it looks like a romaine leaf, but it's a little curlier, and it's still got that beautiful crunch of the romaine. So I'm going to take these. I have already pulled a head apart, though. I'm going to take the end of it off and cut this into ribbons. Now, I just said whole leaves for Caesar salad, but when we're doing it on a tostada like we're doing today, we will need to have it be a little bit cut up from that. I'm going to slice this part of it into these are just, it's such delicious lettuce. If you haven't yet discovered Little Gem, I highly, highly recommend it. Okay, so now everything into the bowl here, and we're going to add just enough dressing to cover it. I'm going to do that around the edge of the bowl. And when I said cover it, I mean just lightly dress all of the leaves. And with a pair of tongs, I'm going to turn it in the bowl. I think I probably don't have quite enough of it there yet. Yes, I can see that, well, you know, probably the best way to determine if I've got enough in here is simply give it a taste. Okay, so now I'm going to put just a little bit more in there. And then I'm going to clean up all this mess and come back and show you how to put these tostadas together. Okay, the tostadas, you can make them yourself, but if you're going to buy tortillas to fry, I suggest that you choose the thinnest, the absolute thinnest ones you can find. Or you can go to your Mexican grocery store and buy the ones in packages already finished. Both can be really good options. Next step here is going to be to take some of our white bean puree with the roasted garlic and olive oil and smear that over the bottom of each tostada. The next thing that we'll put on here is about 3 anchovies on each one of these tostadas with the beans. Okay, I love those white anchovies, but say you can't get them. Well, you can use the brown ones, but I would only use them in the dressing because they're a stronger flavor. So just put them in the dressing. Don't layer them in the tostada at all. Okay, back to the recipe. Next, we'll go our beautiful Caesar salad on top of each one of these guys. And a grating of Parmesan over the whole thing. Followed by a grating of lemon zest. You could omit this if you want to, but I just think it adds such a beautiful contrast to our kind of tangy anchovies there. And a little bit, I have an extra one of these serrano chilies that I roasted. And So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that on top of each one to give a little bit more spice. Again, this is up to your own discretion, but I like the little bit of spice in there. And there you have it. Beautiful Caesar salad tostadas with pickled anchovies.